Number 1.
On January 2, 2000, Zebb Quinn, an 18-year-old employee at a North Carolinian Walmart, disappeared after his shift. Citizen Times describes the last sight of Zebb Quinn, catching him and Robert Jason Owens, one of his co-workers, buying soft drinks. They were going to drive in separate vehicles to check out a new car. Suddenly, according to Owens, Quinn pulled to the side and, having said he received an urgent message, proceeded to rear-end Owens and drove away. Owens went to the hospital, saying he had been in a second accident. The next day, he called as Quinn, saying that he would not be able to make it to work. Later, he would explain that Quinn called, asking him to do this for him. 4 days later, Quinn's car was found in a parking lot. A pair of lips were drawn on the back window, and a still-alive puppy was inside. Neither a living Quinn or his corpse was anywhere near the body. The Asheville police investigated this as a homicide, but their investigation went nowhere. The case went nowhere for 15 years, until Owens was arrested on March 16 on suspicion of murdering Christy Schoen Codd, according to Citizen Times, a Food Network star contestant, and her husband, Joseph. He apparently dismembered their bodies and attempted to dispose of them in his wood stove. Kevin Taylor, the city police detective, remembered that Owens had a connection to the Quinn case and that he had an unusual story about digging a fish pond at the time. The alleged fish pond was not completed and that Owens later covered it with fill dirt. He asked for a warrant to search the rest of his property. The property searches turned up nothing, Citizen Times reported. Still, 2 years later, Owens was indicted with the homicide of Zebb Quinn. By this point, Owens had already pleaded guilty in the Codd's case, according to ABC, claiming he had accidentally run them over when his truck got stuck in mud near their house and was serving a sentence of 59.5 to 74.5 years. Any further details as for why Owens could be indicted for this have not yet been released to the public. Still, the Asheville Police Department seem to think the case has been solved, telling Citizen Times the indictment is the result of years of investigative work and persistence by detectives, as well as ongoing partnerships with members of the Quinn family and the Buncombe County District Attorney's Office. But has this crime been entirely solved, really? Sure, Owens is a suspicious person, but questions remain unanswered, including those raised in a blog written by the mystery and suspense author J.H. Moncrief. For example, what made Owens put himself in the hot seat of the Quinn investigation by calling up Walmart and pretending to be the missing person? Second, what was going on with the living dog left in Quinn's car? Why was the car left abandoned, for that matter? Then, there's the whole matter of the urgent message Quinn received, which according to ABC, the police traced back to his aunt. She denied having sent the page, however. Her alibi involved having dinner with an old friend, but according to Moncrief's analysis, not only was that friend the mother of a girl whom Quinn was in love with, but as it happens, both the daughter and her boyfriend, who was allegedly extremely jealous, were there as well. To make matters more confusing, the aunt also alleged to being burglarized later that night. A common crime? Sure, but allegedly, the break-in was by someone who decided to simply move the pictures around, but not actually steal anything. Altogether an odd story, which currently has no clear answers. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Zebb Quinn, please contact the Asheville Police Department 828-252-1110 or Crime Stoppers at 828-255-5050.
Number 2.
46-year-old Moreira Monsalve was last seen on January 12, 2014 in Wailuku, Hawaii. She was last seen by her ex-boyfriend at his residence, who says she left around 10 p.m. that evening. On January 12, 2014, Moreira Monsalve dropped her son off at the University of Hawaii Maui College campus in Kahului around 3 p.m., then dropped her daughter off at the Kahului airport afterward. That evening Monsalve stopped by the residence of her ex-boyfriend, Bernard Brown, in Wailuku. According to Brown, she left his house around 10 o'clock or 10:30 p.m., leaving her car behind after telling him she was having car trouble. Monsalve didn't place any calls that evening asking for a ride, and Brown reportedly dropped her car off at a repair shop the next morning. Monsalve hasn't been seen or heard from since. Monsalve was reported missing by her daughter, Alexis Felisilda, on January 14, 2014. When police picked up Monsalve's car at the repair shop later that day, they found nothing wrong with it. On January 16, her purse and some of her personal belongings were found in a dumpster at the Velma McWayne Santos Community Center, near Brown's home. Monsalve's friends and family believe Bernard Brown was involved in her disappearance and stated she told them he was mentally abusive and that she was terrified of him. Brown moved to Northern California in early February 2014. He was named a person of interest early on in the case, but authorities did not have enough evidence to make an arrest. It's uncharacteristic of Monsalve to leave without warning, and friends and family don't believe she would have abandoned her children, the youngest of which was in high school at the time of her disappearance. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. Her case remains unsolved. In September 2019, Bernard Brown was arrested in California and charged with Monsalve's murder after being indicted by a grand jury. He was taken into custody by the FBI Violent Crime Task Force and the Sacramento Police Department and was extradited back to Maui. His bail was set at $1 million. Brown pleaded not guilty to the second-degree murder charge. The trial is set to begin in April 2021. Caucasian female born on September 8, 1967. She has brown hair, brown eyes, stands 5'7" and weighs 170 pounds. She wears eyeglasses with black metal frames. She was last seen wearing a black and white pinstriped cotton t-shirt, either long sleeve or 3/4 sleeve, black capri cargo shorts, brown flip-flop shoes, a brown hair clip, and a Victoria's Secret brand bra. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Moreira Monsalve, please contact the Maui Police Department at 808-244-6400.
Number 3.
On June 30, 2020, the Imperial County Sheriff's Office was contacted about Diana's disappearance. The missing persons report was made by Diana's aunt after her family realized no one had been in contact with her for several months. Diana, a mother of 5, had last been in contact with her family in April of 2020. However, the Imperial County Sheriff's Office believes she went missing in early May, disappearing from the home she shared with her girlfriend, Danielle Medine. Diana's cell phone, purse, and personal belongings were left behind. She hasn't been seen or heard from since. A massive search for 31-year-old Diana Rose Alejandra Garcia Gonzalez is planned for October, 5 months after the mother of 5 disappeared from her Winter Haven, California home without a trace. After months without any answers on where Diana might be, her family hopes this new search on October 17 in Winter Haven will finally bring their loved one home. "She's out there somewhere," Diana's aunt, Jenny Espino, told us. "We just need to bring her home." Jenny, who lives in Fort Smith, Arkansas, said that her niece was last in contact with family in April 2020. In June, she said Diana's mother called several family members asking if anyone had spoken to Diana. No one had. On June 30, Jenny filed a missing persons report with the Imperial County Sheriff's Office in California. Investigator Jay Hurtado with the Sheriff's Office confirmed to us that the Sheriff's Office is actively searching for Diana and that it is an ongoing missing persons case. He said Diana was last known to be in Winter Haven at the home she shares with her girlfriend, Danielle Medine, and believes she disappeared on May 4. According to a press release issued by the Sheriff's Office in July, Diana had left her purse, cell phone and personal belongings behind. Investigator Hurtado would not comment further on those details due to the ongoing nature of investigation. Investigator Hurtado told us they have interviewed several people about Diana's disappearance. "There are many stories and rumors around this case right now," Investigator Hurtado said. "So it's hard to say at this time if foul play is involved." He assured us they are doing everything they can to find Diana. He added that Diana is known to travel between Winter Haven, Yuma, Arizona and Mexico, but there have not been any recent sightings. He hopes by continuing to share Diana's story and photo on social media, someone somewhere will have information on her whereabouts. Megan Edwards, an advocate for the missing, and her team have been helping Diana's family for months. A Facebook group Help Find Diana Rose Alejandra Garcia Gonzalez was created to spread the word of Diana's disappearance with the hope of bringing her home safe. "We're just doing whatever we can to help find her," Megan told us. "Our goal is to bring Diana home safe to her family." A massive search effort is being planned for 10 a.m. on October 17, 2020, in Winter Haven, California. Volunteers are encouraged to message or comment in the Facebook group for further information. Diana's aunt told us that she's extremely worried about her niece and fears that someone hurt her. "She's such a sweet person," Jenny said. "And she was taught to give and help others. If someone needed help, she wouldn't hesitate. I don't know why someone would hurt her, but I think someone did." Jenny said she also doesn't believe her niece, who is the mother of 5 children, would walk away and leave them without any contact. "The children are with their father in Yuma, Arizona," she added. "She's gone through some tough times in life. I'm not going to lie and say she's perfect," Jenny said. "But she would never give up on her kids. She always had some sort of contact with her family. This just isn't like her." As the months pass, Jenny said some people have mentioned that her niece's disappearance might become a cold case. "I won't let that happen," Jenny said. "She's out there somewhere, and we're going to bring her home. We're not giving up." Diana is described as being 5'3" tall and weighing approximately 180 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Diana's family said she dyes her hair often, so it may be a lighter brown or blonde color. Anyone who may have information about Diane's whereabouts is asked to contact the Imperial County Sheriff's Office Investigation Unit at 442-265-2105 and reference case number 2006-1642.
Number 4.
25-year-old Chance Englebert was last seen in Juring, Nebraska on July 6, 2019. He disappeared after walking away from an argument at a relative's house around 7:30 p.m. Chance Englebert was born on December 3, 1993, and grew up on his family's ranch in Burdock, South Dakota. He was a bareback rider and went to Laramie County Community College in Cheyenne, Wyoming on a bareback riding scholarship, earning a degree in diesel mechanics and welding. He lived in Moorcraft, Wyoming with his wife Bailey, whom he married in October 2018, and their son Banks, who was born in May 2019. In 2019, Chance was scheduled to start a new job at a propane company after the 4th of July holiday weekend. At the time of his disappearance, Chance lived in Moorcroft, Wyoming with his wife and infant son. On July 6, 2019, they were visiting her grandparents in Juring, Nebraska, and he had spent the day golfing with her family. According to his wife, they went to her grandparents' house that evening to pick some things up, and after an argument Chance got out of the car and walked away at 7:30 p.m. She said there had been a misunderstanding earlier that day when Chance was on the golf course with her family and that he got upset again that evening before walking away. His wife last spoke to him at 7:46 p.m., telling her that he was walking south, but he had spoken to friends and told them he was heading north towards Torrington, Wyoming. He called several friends and family to get a ride, but wasn't able to secure one given the distance he was from home. Calls and texts to his phone went unanswered. The last time anyone heard from Chance was at 8:46 p.m. His phone sent a text at 9:08 p.m. that was just a series of numbers and images. The last ping from his cell phone was Offutt Tower on County Road 19 near the Riverview Golf Course, just west of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. His phone was turned off shortly afterwards. A bad thunderstorm went through the area around 9 p.m., and his wife believed he had taken shelter in a nearby bar or building. Her grandfather went out searching, but found no trace of him. He was spotted on surveillance footage walking through the intersection of Terry Boulevard and Stable Club Road in the suburb of Terrytown at 10 p.m. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. Multiple agencies searched hundreds of miles on the ground and in the air, including the use of search dogs and drones, but found no clues as to Chance's whereabouts. The search efforts included 18 different agencies and 147 individuals on foot covering 2,400 acres, with Airlink logging 280 miles and the Nebraska State Patrol helicopter logging 100 miles. Authorities say they've followed dozens of leads and potential sightings and interviewed people from multiple states, but haven't turned up any solid evidence or clues as to his whereabouts. The last verified sighting of Chance was the surveillance footage of him walking alone in the Terrytown suburb at 10 p.m. The location of Chance Englebert remain unknown, as do the circumstances regarding his disappearance. His family says it's uncharacteristic of Chance to leave without warning, and his wife doesn't believe he would have left their newborn baby. Extensive searches have turned up no clues as to his whereabouts. His case is classified as endangered missing and remains unsolved. Caucasian male born on December 3, 1993. He has light brown hair, hazel eyes, stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and weighs 195 pounds. Chance has a scar on his hip. On the day he disappeared, he was wearing a short-sleeved Wrangler shirt, Wrangler jeans, a belt with an NRCA buckle, roper boots and a black and white trucker cap. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Chance Englebert, please contact the Juring Police Department at 308-436-5089 or Crime Stoppers at 308-632-7867.
Number 5.
Joey Lynn Offutt was a 33-year-old mother of 3 when she disappeared. In this episode, Joey's mom, Sherry, is one of the main talking heads, and she said Joey was very smart, but very naive. She also said Joey was a 33-year-old, but had the mentality of a 14-year-old. Joey was always struggling to hold down a job and struggled with her love life until she met Alexis Brolin in 2003. Alexis and Joey both had kids from previous relationships and eventually had 2 kids together. Joey and Alexis weren't living together, but they were trying to make their relationship work before she disappeared. On June 3, 2007, Joey and Alexis's son was born. They named their baby boy Alexis Brolin 3. On June 30, 2007, 4 weeks after baby Alexis was born, Joey, Alexis and their kids went to Sherry's in Warrenton, Virginia to visit. Joey hadn't seen her extended family for a while. Joey told her family that she and Alexis were now engaged and planning to get married within the next year. They stayed in Virginia for a few days. Joey's oldest daughter stayed with Sherry so that Joey could get some rest. On Tuesday, July 3, Alexis went over to Joey's in Sykesville, Pennsylvania, to help her grocery shop and do some work around her house. Alexis was interviewed, and he said everything was fine that day until he and Joey got into a fight. Alexis left. This was the last time he would see Joey. On July 4, Alexis and Joey had plans to go and see Alexis's family and watch fireworks. Alexis called Joey to apologize for their fight the previous night, but there was no response. He called several times, and at this point, he thought she was just mad and she'd be fine later. July 5, Alexis called again, and she still wasn't answering. He went by her house, and no one answered. 2 days later, on July 7, Alexis still didn't get a response from Joey. Joey also missed an appointment with a health aide nurse. The nurse had gone by the house and noticed Joey's red Saturn car in the driveway. The mail was piling up, and she noticed some things for the baby by the front door. The nurse called Alexis. On July 8, Alexis went by Joey's again. He said there was no movement inside the house. He called Sherry, and they decided to not call the police yet. Alexis said he stayed at the house for an hour and left a note for Joey. On July 11, a week later, Alexis finally called the police. On July 12, Alexis went into the police station in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. The police said they wanted to talk to him. They told him that Joey's house had gone up in flames that day at around 4 a.m. A neighbor named Terry Lockaitis had called the police. After the fire was put out, the fire did a search of the house and found a body in the bathtub. At first they had thought it was an animal, but they discovered they had found the body of baby Alexis. The police told Alexis about the fire and about the death of his son, and they also called Sherry. Sherry said that the police implied to her that Joey set the fire and killed her son. Sherry said Joey would never hurt her kids. The fire department determined that the fire was intentionally set and had started in 2 areas of the house. They also found Joey's purse, but her keys were missing. There was also raw hamburger meat found on the counter, and by this point there were flies that were all over the meat. It was determined that the meat had been out as early as July 3 to 5, which is around the time Joey disappeared. After Alexis's autopsy, it was discovered that the baby died before the fire was set. On July 15, the State College police called and said they found Joey's red Saturn at the Nittany Garden Apartments. This actually was significant to Joey, as it was where she had lived at one time with Alexis before they decided not to live together. The police believed someone had to have intimate knowledge of Joey's life. The police searched the car and there was no viable DNA or fingerprint evidence. They did find that the car seat had been pushed back, like a taller person was driving. Joey was 5'1" and petite, and her mom believed Joey wasn't driving. Her car had also been backed into the parking space, and again Sherry said it couldn't have been Joey because she was a terrible driver and didn't know how to back in like that. The police said that this is an open and active case, and right now there are no suspects. Joey's family is waiting until they can go in and take polygraph tests. Alexis failed his first polygraph test and has refused to take another. Again, he is not a suspect. Alexis is remarried, and his daughter with Joey was 6 years old at the timing of the episode airing. There is a $25,000 reward for any information about Joey's disappearance. In June 2016, Joey was declared legally dead. Family and friends claimed that she would have never left her children and vanished voluntarily. On June 27, 2016, Joey Lynn Offutt was declared legally dead at her mother's request. A $25,000 reward is being offered by her family for any information on Joey Lynn Offutt's whereabouts. Authorities did not name a suspect or person of interest in the case. The circumstances of Joey Lynn Offutt's disappearance remain unclear, and her case is currently classified as missing. Her case remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Joey Offutt, please contact the Pennsylvania State Police at 814-371-4652, the Joey tip line at 1-877-440-JOEY, or Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers at 1-800-4P8-TIPS.
Number 6.
23-year-old Jacob Olivier was last seen entering the Everglades National Park on August 24, 2011. His car was found abandoned 3 days later, parked at the Pine Glades Lake Trailhead in Homestead, Florida. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. On August 27, 2011, Jacob Oliver's abandoned vehicle was found by Everglades National Park rangers. The vehicle, a green 1998 Isuzu Hombre pickup truck with Texas license plate number ADG 3707, appeared to have been parked there for a few days and was located in a parking lot by Pine Glades Lake in Homestead, Florida. A receipt inside the vehicle showed that Jacob entered the park on August 24, and surveillance video showed him entering alone at 1 p.m. that afternoon. Rangers also found an empty pistol case and a box of bullets with several missing inside the truck. The last ping from his cell phone was at 4:45 p.m. Jacob lived in the city of Spring, Texas at the time of his disappearance and worked as a mechanic in a shop in Conroe. He didn't have any known friends or relatives in Florida. His family was unaware that he was in Florida until they were notified by park rangers on August 30 that his truck had been found abandoned. A search of the area was conducted by park rangers and police officers using canines and helicopters. The search was called off in September after a week without any evidence as to his whereabouts being found. The canines used in the search only found Jacob's scent near the abandoned truck, leading investigators to believe he may have left the park in another vehicle or on foot. His family says it's uncharacteristic of Jacob to go without contacting them for this long. According to his family, he had recently completed a drug rehabilitation program and seemed to be doing well. There was no evidence of drugs found inside his vehicle. Jacob Olivier's case is classified as endangered missing and remains unsolved. Caucasian male with black hair and green eyes. He stands 5'5" and weighs 120 to 140 pounds. Jacob's ears are double pierced, and he had a mohawk at the time of his disappearance. If you have any information Regarding the disappearance of Jacob Olivier, please contact the Everglades National Park Dispatch Service at 305-242-7740.